And happy first day of TCEA. Today is Monday, February 3rd, the first day of TCEA. And as my tradition was last year, I'm going to go over my nightly recap of what I learned today. I love TCEA. I especially love that the exhibit hall didn't open yet because I got to enjoy a ton of sessions and learn a lot. So the first session I got to this morning was bright and early at 8 a.m. with Leslie Fisher. And if you have never been to a Leslie Fisher session, they are amazing. She does, like, they're usually named the same as what they have been before in the past, but you're always going to learn something new. I learned a lot. But my favorite thing I learned from her was this. Somebody put Sweet Dreams on top of the Kahoot song. And if you've ever played Kahoot with your students, you know how annoying that song can get after playing it for 12 hours. So let's see if this is going to start for me. Oh, it's going to give me an ad first. Well, fine, but you can go in there and watch it because it's awesome. Oh, maybe. There it is. Anyway, you can go in there and listen to it. It's awesome. So Leslie Fisher said that she has all these random things to help you with sudden boredness syndrome. We went over Google Doodles, miscellaneous facts about Google, the Google a Day. Did you know that Waze is owned by Google and you can record your own voice? Some Google image tips. Of course, Steve the dinosaur when you don't have internet. How to send a let me Google that for you. So if somebody asks you a question and you're like, oh my God, that was totally Googleable. The Google Quick Draw game, Auto Draw, Story Speaker, different experiments with Google where you can get some AR and VR. You can use Google Translate on your phone to show you something. Like if you have a picture of something that's in a different language, you can scan it in Google Translate and it'll show you on your screen what it's saying in whatever language you want it to say. We went over Google Expeditions, different shortcuts, sheets.new, slides.new, how you can caption your Google Slides for your students that may be hearing impaired, or if you just want to have captions. The Waffle House Index, and how you can add footnotes into your Google Docs, which my students are going to love because we're doing research right now, and how to convert a handwritten document into a Google Doc in Drive. Then I went to Casey Bell's Stranger Google. I only caught the last 25-ish minutes because I was running from Leslie Fisher's session to this one. It was her Stranger Google is mostly about experiments with Google, and so they were really, really interesting. Imaginary Soundscape lets you see the street view of Google Maps. Sorry, not street view. That's something else. But it shows you pictures with the sound that go with it. So if you find a picture of a beach, it'll play the sound of the waves. And it's so that students can get the auditory to go with the visual. Move Mirror lets you move pictures around with your body. Font Joy shows you how to pair fonts, and it also helps students see design principles. It shows you the art of pairing fonts. Semantris is my new favorite game. Go play it if you have time. It's an experiment with Google, and it's a word association game. So it'll say like all these words, and you have to find an associated word that goes with the top one. It's really fun. It kind of reminds me of Tetris. Thing Translator that's the thing I told you about with the sign. A Century of Surface Temperature Anomalies is really cool. It's NASA data, and it shows you the Earth with different spikes in different decades as how the temperature of the Earth has changed. Faces of Power is an animated timeline of the 45 American presidents. And then those were some other things that she ran out of time with, but they were really cool. And then I went to Google Slides, More Than Just Presentations, and this was honestly one of the most interesting and interactive. sessions that I went to, because she gave us her slides, and then you made a copy of it, and there were places where you could move things around and practice what she was teaching at the same time. So if you're like me and you like to get ahead in their slides and see what's coming up, I got to practice and then talk to the person next to me about what we were doing that she was talking, or like get ahead. And so it was great. It was honestly a lot of fun. Whoop, there it is, Google Tools and Chromebook App Hub. I did not know about Chromebook App Hub before this, and my school recently went one-to-one, so this was super duper cool to see all these cool projects that I can do with my students in Chromebook App Hub. And then this was definitely my favorite session of the day, besides Nikki Robertson's, of course. Brooke Lowry's session on capturing kids' hearts and minds with technology. And it focused on the 5 love languages and knowing your love language as well as your students. Yours is, of course, important because of how to take care of yourself and how to always be mindful of your self-care and how you're taking care of yourself, but also for our students and knowing how to fill, as Brooke called it, their love buckets. Even something as simple as a handshake, or telling them, hey, you look really nice in that shirt, it brings out your eyes, going to their games or their concerts or any of those things, simple things where they are feeling that you do love them and you do care about them, and it just kind of solidifies that relationship that we want with our students. It was awesome. She talked about an active service you can do with them is help them clean out their backpacks. Prize boxes, making a Google Calendar where students can put in their activities. That way you can see what you can go to. Using emojis and Bitmojis to give them feedback for words of affirmation. You can also do that with Screencastify. You can do that with stickers, making GIFs, making memes, giving them quality time, not just with you, but with their friends. Brooke told us a really awesome story about how she got a student to have 5 minutes with another student that they didn't have any classes together. And it really helped that student focus because they knew that they would have some time together. And then I got an idea for one of my lunch and learns. And then I got the link for creating Google Drawings, GIFs, memes, and videos for the classrooms. And then I caught a few minutes of Dr. Perry and Dr. Weimar's session on sketchnoting and why creativity and doodling is important in the classroom. And I learned that it helps you remember and retain information. And I thought I knew that, but I didn't. And then I really loved this session called Stuck in the Middle, Making the Library Fun Again, because our students go from elementary school where they love the library because it's books and it's story time and they have that association. But in middle school, it's when we really get to bring that out and show them the fun things we can do in the library. And there's a lot of different programming that I feel like I'm going to be able to implement right away. Then I went to G Suite certification for students. If y'all don't know, Google now has where students can get their certification in the cloud and Drive, and it's different. They're like different versions of the tests. There aren't levels like there are for us as adults and educators, but students can earn their own certification, and then they can, or in this session, they formed a Chrome crew where those students were going to help other students and kind of bring in more buy-in. And then the last session I got to go to was Nikki Robertson's today, and she went over experiments with Google. And honestly, I'd heard about experiments with Google before, but whoever has time to sit and go through all of them and see what's good and what can be used in a classroom and what can we do in the library, no one really has time for that. So I really, really appreciated this session because she went through a bunch of different Google experiments and found some that I cannot wait to show my students. They're going to love them. Kandinsky lets you draw, and then it turns your drawing into music. And I really loved her idea of teaching kids how to use the trackpad on a laptop. So writing their names on the trackpad and then watching it come up on the screen and making music. Another one I really liked, of course, was Semantris again, but Talk to Books. If you have not used Talk to Books or heard of it before, it's amazing. So you can ask questions and then it will give you an answer with a quote from a book. And Nikki talked about how she's using this for her doctoral program, and it gives you the quote, and then you can open the book on your screen, and then you can use pages and reference. And then there's Mystery Animal, where students play 20 questions, and they have to learn how to ask the proper questions to guess the animal. Notable Women is an AR where it shows you money, and then different women come up with it or come up on it on there, and then it gives you lesson plans to go with those. Hello Morse, touched my heart. It was about a person who couldn't communicate and how she developed a Gboard using Morse code so that she could talk to people, and she found her husband, or she got a husband, or her husband helped her. Somehow she was able to have a voice and meet her husband and marry her husband, and then they have a family now. It was really great to hear. Banterbox, you can talk to a character as you write them. The Freddie meter was super fun. It's basically Queen karaoke, and then it gives you a meter at the end, like it rates you how close to Freddie Mercury you are. And then My Story Time, you can read a book and then it records you, and then you can go back and listen to that later. So the video for it was about a family who uses this while the dad is on deployment. And then GitHub is where a lot of the experiments with Google have their coding space. And so you can have the students go get these codes and then manipulate it to change it into something else they want, or if they want to change it or whatever. And I think that's really good practice for our students who are more interested in coding and want a little more than just what they'll get out of hour of code, or something that we can give them really simply, because this will make them think. So that is what I went to today. Again, I had a super fun day. I loved every session. I learned so much. I'm really tired, and now I'm ready to go to bed. I will see y'all tomorrow. If you see me, say hi, and I've got lots of stickers to give out. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Bye!